What is going on, everyone? Welcome to the Run Pure Sports PinSeekers show. We're breaking down the Genesis Invitational after the Waste Management Open last week. We'll go to JBC first because he was at the event having a good time. JBC, how was the Waste Management Open? And of course, how was the Super Bowl?
I slept 8 hours in 3 days. I think if anybody saw Boynton's college basketball show on Saturday, they know that it was a rough weekend. But it was fun. You know, Super Bowl was fun. I won a bunch of money on the Eagles. So can't really complain, but my body feels like death. I've slept 14 hours both nights, the last 2 nights.
Yeah, I mean, that sounds awful. So, but hey, at least it was a good time with the And was your flight back a red eye? How was the flight back?
So there was only one direct from Phoenix back to Memphis, and it was at 9 a.m.
Okay.
I was not as fortunate as like Cam went straight to the Scottsdale airport after the Super Bowl, just like straight there, and flew out that night, which that sounded a lot better. But I don't have Cam bucks, at least not yet.
All right, we'll go to Big T. Big T is excited from the Waste Management Open because he took a couple hundies off me, of course, because he is, I let my guard down. I'll tell you that. I'll say this.
You made fun of Spieth. You guys were all laughing at me with Spieth, and
I will admit Spieth. Spieth, I will admit. I did like JT and Hideki, but Spieth, I will admit. I will definitely. That's the one I definitely will take the beating on. I was caught sleeping on the Hideki versus Thomas one.
You love Hideki.
I mean, Hideki played fine. Hideki played fine.
Tony, my point was, I said Hideki, I think, is a little bit better than Justin Thomas. I'm just saying.
You want to run it back this week since you think he's a little better? I'll take JT again.
We'll talk.
You can run it back every tournament this year. I'll take JT versus Hideki.
Maybe I don't feel that way this week, Tony. All right, settle down.
I was just throwing it out there. I was giving you. Whenever you take money, you got to give it the opportunity back to redeem it.
I will say, Siwoo Kim played well. I don't want to hear any Siwoo Kim slander.
You said before the show he got all the way up to like 15th, crushed that. It is Siwoo fashion to make a bunch of birdies and come higher than I. Because if I just guessed, I would have guessed like 30th or something. So
I want to say that Sung JM cost me $400,000, and I'm pissed about it. I mean, I still won like a good chunk of money, but like if he shoots even on Sunday, I'd nut everything.
What did he shoot on Sunday?
5 over.
Oh,
and it was like on the back. He gets to the scoring holes, and he makes a 7 and a 9. I think. I don't know. It was wasted. But
did he just quit?
Awful. It was so awful, and it was like right in front of me. He goes in the water right in front of me.
No heart.
No heart. None. Willie definitely got abused after that round.
Did you guys talk to him?
No, we didn't. No. But yeah, Sungjae, he fucked me.
Yeah, well, overall, it was a fun event. Mr. Spieth, I hope he doesn't have a bounce back year. I'll say that because it probably won't be a good year for me.
So on 17 on Sunday, we were on 17 on Sunday, and Spieth. This is like a microcosm of Spieth's weekend career. He hits the ball about a mile right, and it's clearly OB if it doesn't hit the grandstand. He's up against the grandstand, he gets relief, and he chips it to like 2 feet from like way far out.
I'm still saying the one hole, I think it was Sunday with Spieth, he was literally behind a bush. He had to hit lefty with his putter. It like was going towards another bush and takes just a straight left nosedive. And then he somehow hits it up towards the green and one putts and makes par. It's like, that is so Spieth.
Yeah,
he was doing it all week.
I was hoping for a Sunday collapse from him, but
I hate Spieth is the funny thing. Like, I might not be on him the only reason I was on him is because he's had good history there. I don't like Spieth.
I feel like the crowd kind of gets him going.
Yeah, definitely. The crowd definitely loves Spieth for sure.
Yeah, he was like getting the loudest cheers. He was getting louder cheers than Scheffler.
Oh yeah,
people don't like Scheffler. He's just boring.
Yeah, Scheffler's too boring for people for sure, so they don't love him that much.
I mean, when he got arrested, it made him a little more interesting, but
it gave him some kind of
actually get arrested though.
But back on the topic of Siwoo, I saw a video, and he did an interview. I think it was last week, and he was talking about the back nine to players when he shot 61 to win the tournament, and he said that he had drank 2 Red Bulls and took 2 Advil PM at the turn. Red Bull and Advil PM to shoot 61.
I said it last. That's what Mangum does before he gets out of bed in the morning.
That's like crack, dude. Like, how do you do that?
That seems sharp. I like
drinking on Ambien.
I like the way Siwoo Kim prepares for golf. I'll say that he's the man. So, but all right, let's dive into the golf winners, of course. And we are at the Genesis, and I think they're only playing on the one course, right? I think they're only playing on the South course, right, JBC?
Yeah.
Only on the South course, and it's cut, obviously. So they're going to be the
shortcut, though. Shortcut. 72 players, top 50.
It's what?
72 players, top 50 make the cut. Top 50 in ties, I'm sure.
Okay. Yeah. So it'll be basically if you get like a 6 of 6, it's even more valuable this week. You know what I mean? So 5 of 6s will probably still be, okay. At least, it depends what event. Depends what.
You're thinking of it backwards. The cut's going to be more make the cut.
It's more make the cut? I thought it was less.
There's only going to be 12 to 15 people miss the cut.
Right.
Oh, okay.
But you never know, like when chalk misses or something. I'm just saying in general, you want to take more chances in events like this than you normally would. At least that's how
very low downside to taking the dregs.
Yeah. Yes. You want to basically build more stars and scrubs heavy, right? That's kind of the key.
I definitely think that's what you have to do in these for sure. Especially when you got these guys at the top that are clearly the best players.
That's the issue, is that even if you didn't want to do that, Scotty and Rory being plus 500, plus 700, you kind of have to. But here's the thing, though, and we'll get into this later, but I think that is going to drive the ownership on the 9K range down so far that you may get insane leverage just by merely taking, your Auberts and Matsuyamas and Cantlays like 10%. You're probably over market.
Interesting. Yeah, I mean that could make some sense. And then obviously you might have really heavy if that's how it works out, JBC, there's going to be some 6K guys that are like insane chalk that you don't normally see. So that'll be a big talking point. I'll pull up the ownership.
Ben Griffin.
What?
Ben Griffin's going to be stupid chalk.
What is the projection?
On Sabre they had him at like 8 or 9, but I think it'll get into the teens easy.
Yeah, I mean, that's the other thing to think about. If you do think everyone's going to go stars and scrubs like that, then you're going to see the ownership get even more inflated on some of those guys. So, yeah, we got ownership.
And Gary, they mentioned Gary Woodland as well.
Gary Woodland once again. At the top, though, we got Scotty. He is 12-3 with about 40% ownership. Rory, 10-9, 41%. Rory does normally play pretty well here. Justin Thomas, 13%. Colin Morikawa at 10K. He is 23%. So similar to last week, right? Pretty much identical owner. I mean, just the only difference is I think some of the pricing is like, $400 or $200 difference one way up or down. JBC, obviously last week it was a big week. Scotty was like the guy we all wanted to play, right? Scotty, he wasn't, guaranteed or anything like that. T25 probably wasn't even on the winners or optimal, but obviously T25 doesn't kill you. That's what Scotty.
Pretty much anything high stakes, he was still in the winner just because there was no downside to playing him.
Yes, that was like kind of the point I was saying. You just were a lot better. So, but anyway, Scotty 12-3, Rory 10-9, Justin Thomas 10-1, and Colin Morikawa 10K. Those are the 4 up top. JBC. How do you see it shake out up there? Who are you playing?
Scotty and Rory will both be heavy chalk. Rory more. I think Rory more so. I think Rory ends up more owned than Scotty, which to me is a little suspect because you don't need the salary so much. And so I know 1,400 salary is a lot, but I still like Scotty better than Rory this week, which probably isn't going to be the prevailing opinion. I think the next highest guy up there is Morikawa, and Thomas will get squeezed. I think Thomas ends up between 10 and 15% owned at most.
Yeah, I do think looking at some of the ownerships, and we'll obviously talk about the 9K range, it does look like you're going to be right about that, especially with there being so many 9K guys. It's just going to like spread itself out. Before we get the big T to talk about that range, JBC, we got a question in the chat from George.
Clone.
What?
Jack Black clone.
Yeah. Well, what is that? Oh, Jack Black clone. Okay, that's pretty good. That's I never is that. Have you
didn't know that was Wise JBC? I knew that.
No, I thought it was Junior Bacon Cheeseburger, but you know.
It is, but you know, you have to adapt with the times.
For sure. Big T, let's go to you to talk about the top range. Obviously, Scotty, you're going to probably load up on. You like the stars and scrubs route. What are you doing with the top end range, though?
Yeah, I don't really see a way to get around it, honestly. And I mean, Scotty, I agree. Scotty, always going to be the best play. He does look a little out of sorts to me, which I'm not worried about. It's Scotty. It's going to take 1 or 2 holes, and he's going to click back in it and just totally dominate. But, I mean, I watched him pretty close last week. He did look a little off kilter. I mean, he slap hooked or slap sliced an iron into the lake the 1 hole. He struggled and still finished 25th. So it is what it is. But I actually like Rory more. But like JBC said, I think a lot of people will. It's just his recent form is so good, and his course history is even better than Scotty's too somehow. So I love them both. But if I had to pick one, I think I'd pick Rory. Not because of the salary either. Honestly, if they were the same price, I would still like Rory more than Scotty. But I like both of them. I'm going to have a ton. JT is going to be tough to play when he's only that much cheaper. I just don't. He is playing better, though. I really think he's back this year. I think he's going to play good. I just wish he was closer in price to like Sunday than Rory. I mean, he's only 800 off Rory. And what it comes down to, too, is you can fit Scotty and Rory together pretty easily. And am I really going to play Scotty and JT or something over Rory? And I just don't see myself doing it. So JT, I probably won't play a ton of. Although I do think you can get leverage, and I totally agree with what JVC's saying with these 9Ks, because it's so easy to fit Scotty and Rory or one or the other that I don't see the 9Ks really getting played all that much. So there is good leverage. It's just not really how I like to build golf, at least at the top. I can get different lower in there, but it's Scotty and Rory for me. Nothing creative here.
All right, Scotty and Rory. It is also, if you played both those guys, you are left with 6.7K for your last couple spots.
Easy, though, this week. I really like some 6K guys when we get down there.
I was JBC. I'll ask you this, and I'm not saying it's true, but sometimes when you play, like, there's 2 really expensive guys. Like, a good example is if I played Pat Mahomes and Saquon Barkley in the Super Bowl, one in the captain, one in the flex, the dupes start to just be all over the place, right? Like, right? It's. Do you see that as a possibility of like there's more dupes with the Scheffler Rory thing, especially with the shorter field here?
I mean, it's certainly a possibility, but I do not think that is worth letting it affect your judgment whatsoever in golf, just because there are so many combos. It's like in football, you're really only using 20 guys in a showdown at most.
Yeah.
And you know, here you're clearly there's 70 guys that are on the table. Like the worst play in the field is probably Hubbard, and you know, Hubbard will see like 1% ownership or more. So, you know, everybody's going to get played.
Cool. Yeah, figured I'd ask because I know that sometimes is the way it can go. You'll see, you're not going to see a lot of teams, right? Like there might be a team that wins the flagship that has like 4 people got it, right? It can happen, but hey, I'll be one of the 4 if I'm okay with chopping there.
I just wouldn't even worry about dupes in golf. I know other people do, and I know people will make fun of me for saying this, but I'm fine with it. I don't care if they make fun of me.
Yeah,
just play your teams. And
it's so unlikely as to you shouldn't worry about it.
Yeah, I'm definitely with you. It's actually funny. One time for a live final seat, I had like a 5% guy, a 1%, and like a 3% guy, and I duped with someone, and it was absolutely crazy. And I was tilted, but it was weird.
Typically on an average week, you know, just through my natural way of building, I will have 148, 149 uniques out of 150. It's hard to dupe unless you're just like straight like playing the optimal from, one of the major tout sites.
Yeah.
That makes a lot.
The way we build too. Well, the way I build, I'm always going to have a couple guys that are different too. Like last week, I think I had 3 guys on my main team that were 4% owned or less or something with the chalky guys. So it's just, I don't think Scotty Rory is going to be that popular either. Just because what you said, casuals aren't going to play all 6K guys, 3 6K guys. They just won't do it. So I don't know. I think it's fine.
Yeah,
I think it's more likely Scotty plus a 9K or something gets steamed more than that. Like Scotty, Hideki, Scotty, any of those guys.
I think it's going to coalesce around Morikawa. I think it'll be Scotty Morikawa, Scotty Morikawa, Scotty Morikawa, Rory Morikawa.
Morikawa's got great numbers too. I added 2 columns to my spreadsheet too for the Run Pure members, where I got a recent history and a course history like ranking column that shows you kind of how good they've been. If anyone likes that kind of stuff.
Yeah, people I think will go to Morikawa over Hideki. It's just not big enough of a gap, right? If Hideki was like 9-2, I could see it then, but yeah, it's not that far of a gap from him.
I'm going to answer this question real fast. My favorite place to eat so far is Porch and Parlor Steakhouse. That has been my favorite meal.
I was gonna say I don't know how much of an expert you can be. You just moved there, but I'm
always an expert. I'm an expert on everything.
I'm glad you added this so far. I'll say that because but it sounds like it's a good place. The steakhouse. I can never say no to a steakhouse, so I'll always try a good steak. But
they had an interesting dish. It was an off-menu appetizer. It was deviled eggs with Wagyu that they seared. They seared the Wagyu next to the table, threw it on the deviled egg.
I mean, the Wagyu sounds great, but the deviled eggs is disgusting. So.
Y'all aren't country enough.
Oh, when my grandma makes deviled eggs, I literally want to vomit.
Oh, I'll eat the whole fucking plate.
Everyone either loves them or hates them.
It's definitely a hit or miss thing, but they hit almost every time.
More than anything, like it just reeks.
Oh, I love it. I love them.
Deviled eggs just ruins the entire house. It's just absolutely.
Y'all are some haters.
I love it.
All right, let's get to the 9K range. Let's talk about.
We actually had this last night. I had this last night. It's good.
I don't understand what this dude's saying. See, if Scotty and Rory were the same price, should be saying how dumb that is after one went. Why? Rory is a really good golfer. I don't like. Why is that dumb? He's been good just because he hasn't won a major. I don't get it. I don't understand the question.
Rory's been, he wins 1 or 2 every year, no matter what, and sometimes more.
Do people think he's that much worse than Scotty? Like he's not.
Yeah, I mean, Rory's certainly a better putter than Scotty.
Rory could easily have a better year than Scotty. Like Rory's done it for longer. Guys don't keep it up just forever. Scotty's got to battle through too some tough stretches.
Yeah.
I mean, I do think Scotty's better, but obviously
Scotty's a little better right now, but the gap is not like laughable. You're not like, oh man.
Clearly the gap's not laughable if it's plus 500, plus 700 this week.
Yes, agreed. And this
is
where
playing better. If you're gonna give me odds, I'll take Rory this week over Scotty. Like, I mean, come on. Like, I don't understand.
Yeah, I mean, again, the Vegas odds say it like JBC said, and ownership, that's when ownership starts to come in.
I mean, what's the head-to-head?
I think they end up very similar in ownership. Oh, I need to check the head-to-head, actually.
It's got to be close. It's got to be.
Matchups.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like far. It's like going to be like minus 210 or something. Like
it's probably like minus 120, I guarantee.
My guess is my guess is minus 130.
Yeah.
Penny doesn't have it up. I'd have to check it. I'd have to check one of the other sides.
Okay. Well, let me dive in and start mentioning the 9K range. We talked about Hideki in the 9K range already. He's 9.6K. He will likely be the chalk in this range, looking at like around 16%. Mr. Ludwig, I always like playing him, but he, coming off that sickness, I do think this course fits him really well. So he is someone that I am interested in, but I want to see what the ownership's going to be. I'm hoping we get it very low. Could be an intriguing play. You got Cantlay, Sung J M, Tommy Fleetwood, and then 9K Taylor Pendrith, that just seems like it doesn't fit with obviously all these other guys in this range, but he has been playing some good golf, of course, so that is why the price hike is coming. JVC, you talked about the 9K range kind of being a bit of a dead range possibly, and there's a lot of guys listed here, And I sort of agree with what you're saying. So there is some low ownership we might get in this range. So who are some of the guys that you're looking at getting overweight on?
Scotty's 150 and 155, FanDuel and DK. So I have to bet Rory at that price. That's big.
That is
I agree with you. I don't think any of these guys are over 10% other than Matsuyama and Pendrith. I think some of them you may even see sub 5%. Sungjae and Aubert, Fleetwood, I don't. In high stakes, these guys are going to be like 1-2% owned. Nobody's taking them. And I mean, logically, that makes sense, other than the fact that if you're getting a guy that's 35 to 1 to win the tournament at 1%, it doesn't really matter what price he is. It's a good play. So, I'm probably going to be drastically over the field on Aubert, just because he was playing bad because of sickness, not because he was playing bad. So, I'm hoping he's over that a little bit. The market kind of indicates that. He's got very, very similar odds to Matsuyama. It's hard to click him if you're just clicking one lineup, because Morikawa is only 200 more, JT's only 300 more. So I think he comes in really, really light, and I'll be substantially over on Aubert. As far as the rest of the range, Matsuyama, I'll probably get in around market, maybe a little lower. And then all the other guys, I'm looking to get like a little over. Cantlay, Sungjae, Fleetwood. I'm going to try and play all those guys about 10% just to get the leverage on it. Pendrith, I'm less interested in, just because I think he's going to come in really, really chalky. I do think he's a good play, but he could get steamed up to like 20% owned, and I don't really like that.
Did you say Pendrith could get to 20, or you mean Hideki?
Pendrith.
You think Pendrith could? I don't.
Pendrith is by far the most chalky play in this range.
Even over Hideki? I would think it's Hideki.
Hideki might get more than Pendrith, but, Pendrith is certainly next.
And to be fair, like we say in golf, right? Like, what is one guy 18% and one 16? Like, who gives a shit, right? Like, it's not that big.
Pendrith will be in the teens.
Yeah.
At a minimum.
Okay. The big conversation is those are the two guys, right? Hideki, Pendrith, those are the two chalky guys, and the rest, there could be a lot of leverage with them, like you were kind of mentioning. Big T, I'll go over to you. Talk about this 9K range and some of the golfers you're looking at.
I mean, one of the things I do in golf is just really narrow it down. And all these guys, I think, I agree. I mean, somewhere between 10 and 15%. I think they all kind of come in that range. And I'm not going to play any of them. I know they're going to be lower owned. And this is kind of where DFS is fun for me, though, because I agree with JBC's take. But I think you can go either way, like get a little above on these guys and kind of jam them in there, or just fade it and play Scotty and Rory and maybe like a little bit of Morikawa or something at the top with two studs on all mine. And that's just the way I'm going. I just don't like this range. And I get that other people aren't going to either, but I'm just going to get different in that next range. And I like a lot of 8K guys when we get in there, and 7s and stuff. So, and 6s, like I said. So, my way to be different, I'm literally not playing anybody in the 9Ks on, even if I'll probably play 150 this week. I don't think I'll play any 9K guys in any of my builds. So that's kind of my stand, where I do agree though. Like that's just how DFS works, where you can go more than one way. And I just don't like these guys. I can't talk myself into any of them. Pendrith would be the guy I'd like the most, but again, I don't want to play him if he's somehow steamed up to 15 or 20%. I don't want to.
I do agree that the only way to get leverage if you want to go against these guys is to just play 0.
Because one or two are probably going to crush, like you said, and then the rest are probably going to suck. So
they still have to crush pretty fucking hard at the price.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, obviously if one guy gets like 8th or 7th, that's great. But like if Scotty and Rory are like 1 and 4, it just doesn't matter, right? So you still got your bullets that are competing against them, and depends what the cheap guys do as well. So, all right, I forgot to mention, JVC, tell me your top guys in the 10K and above range. Give me your top 2. We know Big T's are Scotty and Rory. Are you the same? Just those two are the best 2?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think that they'll end up similar ownership. I like Scotty over Rory, but objectively, Rory is the better play from a statistical standpoint. But I'll take Scheffler.
Okay. And then what about 9K range? Again, we know Big T's stance on the 10K. So give me the 9K range. Who are your favorite? Give me your top 2 guys in that range.
If we're not including ownership, Matsuyama and Pendrith are the best plays. We are including ownership. I like Aubert the best.
Yeah, I like Aubert as well. I think that's a really good one. Big T, do you want to give, if you were playing the 9K range, do you have a take?
If I was playing the 9Ks, I would for sure not play Hideki. I would not play Cantlay at this course. It would have to be Aubert and Pendrith for me. It would have to be. I would not play the other guys. I could at least sell myself on Aubert just because I do agree he was sick and his talent level is better than everyone in this range. So it would have to be him for me.
Yeah, and again, you're not going that way, but there could be someone
best golfer in the field.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Talent-wise, he's amazing.
He's the 3rd best golfer in the field.
Yeah, I think he's such a good play. So especially with people, the sickness and everything, it's only a sickness, right? I'm not too worried about it.
When I get around to building, he could easily find his way. Because sometimes you just need a 9K guy in your 150 to like make it all work. He would be my guy in there for sure. The more you guys talk about it.
And that's a reason to sign up at Run Pure Sports. So you can check out Tony's content, see when he's adjusting, what he's going to change everything to. Because, he's on the fly right now doing his adjustments and kind of figuring it out now. If you haven't watched the Big T show, that's how it goes. So let's get to the 8K range and talk about it. Another kind of dead zone, I would say, right? Because, again, it's stars and scrubs. No one's really getting up to this 8K range. And, yeah, I mean, there's some golfers I definitely don't want to play in this range. The chalk guys, it looks like Bobby McIntyre is about to be 17%. Sepp Straka at 8K, he's around 13. And then Rasmus Højgaard, he is 13% as well. So those are the 3 chalky guys in this range. Big T's guys, Jordan Spieth. Yes, Big T, he's your guy now. He is 8.5K. He's obviously going to be low owned in this range. You got Tom Kim at 8.9 and those higher 8K guys, they're going to be low owned, like Jason Day. People don't love playing him with all the outfits he's wearing. But JVC, talk about what you're doing here with this 8K range.
The guy I really, really love in this range is Sam Burns. And, he hasn't been playing quite as well recently, but I feel like if he's going to come in substantially lower owned than Højgaard, I would much prefer to have Sam Burns than Højgaard. Højgaard and Bobby Mack obviously are going to be played heavy after how they performed last week. But they're worse golfers than Burns and Tony Finau. And if you're looking at, the odds on Penny, 42, 44, 47, 48 to 1 for these 4, that's all about the same. And I would much rather play Burns and Finau at lower ownership than Højgaard and McIntyre. I'm always going to have a piece of hen dog at 8,600. Too good with the irons. But Jordan Spieth, again, I've got no fucking interest. He sucks. Lowry, another good iron player. Tom Kim, I will have some piece of these guys, but they're going to be low owned just like the 9K range until you get down to Højgaard and McIntyre. Like everybody's going to be low owned until you get to 8,300.
Yeah, and again, it's because it's the stars and scrubs build, so this is just naturally going to be a more dead range up in the high 8K range, like you kind of talked about. Big T, we got Thomas Dietrich, who won last week at 8K. I think you're probably not going to like this range that much, but if you do play this range, I assume it's more the lower guys than rather the higher ones. But what's your thoughts here, Big T?
I actually like this range a lot, and it's partly I don't like the 9Ks, but I like a lot of guys in here. Russell Henley, I think, is like a really good play. He's got really good recent history, good irons, which I like at this place. He's only played this course once. If you haven't checked it out too on our site, Run Pure. Actually, I can screen share this real quick.
It's screen cool. Share it.
Just because I like to show people what they get. Because Wiley added.
In the words of Empire Maker, it's always Henley. It's always Henley.
Always Henley.
I got the screen share thing. The tab up, so Big T. Do what
ready. Let me see.
Yeah, it should just slide us to the side.
Hopefully, I think that they can get this with it. Hopefully, it's not just us. But so like you go. Actually, I can just pull it up on. Hold on. Is it still? So if you go to golf, this thing we just added this week, but Smart Golf Info, if you want to see like hopefully this works for everyone and not just me, or else I'm showing something that's stupid. But I think it'll work for everybody. So once you come here, just click Genesis Invitational, and it pulls up all the recent stuff. So like with Henley, oh God, now it's not. It didn't come with me, but there we go. This is what it comes to after you click that. So you can see like the recent, and where's Henley at? So Henley, recent form, like awesome, 5th, 10th, 30th, 19th. And then the only time he played here was 2021, finished 13th. And it's this is just a cool thing to see all in one section. You see like Pendrith right there. But some of the stuff that pops out, like, I mean, Tom Cam's been playing good. I don't know. It's a cool feature that you get for when you're just messing around with the site. It's little stuff you get when you sign up for Run Pure that I like to look at. Like I always say, I like to look at recent form, course form, and then the odds. And right here you got, it's bet 365, but you got some odds you can look at on the same spot. Obviously, I would look at DraftKings, our partner, or Pinnacle if you want some sharp lines or any of that. But just a real quick reference, though, you got some odds right here, too, to kind of see that. But just to go back, we don't have to keep sharing that.
Yeah, I mean, one thing I do like about that stuff is like, and you had it on the screen before, you don't have to pull it back up, but like I can see that Aberg is 18-1, and I have it sorted, by salary, and I can kind of just like get a good idea of this guy.
And you can sort by salary, which is nice there. Like or sort by odds and salary, all the different spots you can sort from. It's just a cool feature that you get with your subscription that you can check out.
And if I know this is going a little out of order and everything, but like let's say I'm looking at some odds and stuff, and I need a 6K golfer, right? Oh, I see this guy, like for instance, I don't know. Well, some of these are messed up, but like let's say like Seamus Power's like one of the best ones down there. If he is, then I can just sort by odds and take a shot, right? So
yeah,
that's kind of how I
clean format in one look. That I mean, I like to. I know JBC likes to look at odds, simplify stuff. I like to simplify stuff. Just makes it easy. It makes it. I don't need like we said last week, and I make fun of on every golf show the 3.5-inch rough, and he hits it 2 yards off the fairway, and he's 9th in putting from 18 feet out. Like we're not looking at that kind of stuff. So
it's all already baked in. It's all already baked in.
Yeah, which I just totally agree with it. But this range, so 8,600 Hen Dog, I like him a lot. Low owned. I like Burns. I love the Burns call at 8,400. Like, that's my point, though. I don't think Burns is, like, that different than, like, Cantlay and Sungjae and 1K cheaper and lower owned. I think he's a great play. The one guy I definitely agree on, though, or disagree on, though, is my boy Rasmus. This dude is good. He is just full of talent, and he's not going to get a ton of ownership. 8,300.
You think he comes in low?
What's that?
You think he comes in low?
I think he comes in.
He's going to be in the teens, but again, like, I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think it's when I said low, I guess it has different meanings. I agree. He's going to be 15 or something, I guess, in there. Do you think higher or lower?
Higher. After how he played last week, because he looked so good.
Yeah, if he's higher, then maybe I shouldn't like it. Because I always want to get in my build, I always want to get 2 or 3 times the field. I don't really want to go 40% Rasmus or something. So that if he's that high, then
he was on that stretch yesterday last week on Saturday, where if he doesn't hit the ball in the water in 15, he ends up tied with Dietrich, and like Dietrich maybe chokes and plays it differently. That changed the whole tournament.
I just think he's like really good is the problem. Like I didn't play him as much last week. I regretted it all weekend too. I'm like, why didn't I just jam him again?
It was hard. He's 9,200.
Yeah, it was tough. It was tough. I can't make the mistake again. I think he's just gonna crush. So I just like this range, and I like Finau. I don't usually like Finau either, but his price is nice. And then Seb Straka, I love. I think he's playing great golf too. 8K. So I like, what was that? Henley, Burns, Højgaard, Finau, Straka. I like 5 guys in this range, which I think you can do a build where you go Scotty or Rory and 2 of these guys or something and then go down. And I think that's unique. I don't think hardly anyone will do that, really.
So, yeah, I mean, I do think overall, I'm not worried about the ownership. You can just play both those guys up top and then go from there. JBC, give me your top guys in the 8K range if you had to pick 2.
Number 1, Sam Burns. Number 2, Tony Finau. Number 3, Højgaard. and 4 and 5 would be Straka and Dietrich.
Thank you for paying it. Thank you for following directions by giving 5 when I asked for 2. Big T, give me your.
I liked it though. He gave winners. When you give winners, you like that.
I gave you winners with the injury report the other day, and
that was terrible. I know JBC. There's no way he was watching that, but this dude starts the other day, JBC, on this NBA. He read off 97 injuries for NBA to start out an NBA show. There wasn't a single person still engaged by the end of it. He read off every injury for the last month. And then he's like, well, people need to know. It's important for the slate.
Well, the thing about Mangone is when he talks, I just don't listen, as I just proved by doing 5.
All right, he gets a timeout for that.
We jacked our screen up now, though.
That's okay.
You tried to own him, and you got our screen all jacked up.
Yeah, it's okay. He's got to get it. Now we'll bring him back in. There we go.
Now I'm on bottom. Okay.
Bottom.
I was going bottom bunk. Poop deck.
All right, give me your top 2.
My rankings. You guys got me traumatized a little bit with this Rasmus. It's almost like last week when you told me that Siwoo was going to be crazy, because I didn't think Rasmus was going to be that high, but it makes sense to me. He played good. He's cheaper this week than last week. I'm still going him number 1 though, because I like him. I'm going to go him 1, Burns 2, Straka 3. I like this range a lot though. So I mean, I could name 5. I like all of them. I want to be above the field on all those guys we talked about.
All right, sounds like Big T is high on the 8K range. Before we get to the 7K range, I did see something. I feel like JBC will like this conversation. So let's get off the beaten path. Did you see the John Rocker, Pat Mahomes senior video? Yeah. Okay, so we have breaking news. Dave Portnoy got for the Rough and Rowdy for the boxing match he does. He got the 2 of them to box on.
Okay, so this is all set up. It's a setup.
Rocker and Pat Mahomes senior are boxing.
So Rocker and Pat Mahomes are actually friends. They got to be friends. They got to be friends.
Maybe, but they're boxing. They are boxing on the Rough and Rowdy stuff that Portnoy does. So he does like this, like amateur. I don't know. It's not amateur boxing. It's just like a bunch of clowns boxing each other for fun and stuff. So.
No, I mean that's good. That's good. I do like that they got it. They did a little hyping before they signed it up. Most of these they just have the guys fight each other and they got no swag. They need a little McGregor to them.
It seems too fast that like they have the Rough and Rowdy happening.
Oh yeah,
like, it had to have been staged.
Oh, it was staged. Guaranteed. They were drinking together, and then they were like, "Let's act like we're fighting," and then agree to actually fight.
Yeah, it's definitely good stuff. So I don't know. I hope Rocker wins. Rocker's a funny guy, so it'd be make for better content.
I don't know, man. Pat Mahomes Sr. got like 5 DUIs. He got that dog in him.
He gets after it. When he starts getting hammered, he does some things.
Do they have to have a drink before each round or a shot before each round? That would make it even better.
They should.
They probably come in oiled.
Rocker's still on the gas though. You see him, man? He looks big. He looks big.
He's definitely still on the gas.
I love that. I love the guys that they like. I met Larry Fitzgerald like a month ago, and like he was way bigger than he was when he was playing, and I was like, all right, I respect that.
He was big for sure.
He was fucking huge.
Yeah.
If Rocker's actually gonna, Rocker's gonna whoop his ass if they actually fight.
Which another thing about Larry Fitzgerald that was great was Boynton was wearing a Virginia Tech hat, and he walked right up to him, and he looks at him doesn't know him from fucking you or I, and goes, "What? You didn't get into Virginia?" Fucking just ripped that at him, and I was like, "Oh fuck!"
Man, that's
talking shit to random people,
especially for Boynton. Get on Boynton.
Oh, Boynton was mad butthurt.
That's what he deserves for wearing a Virginia Tech hat.
I know he was mad butthurt. Mad butthurt.
That's pretty good. I assume Boynton didn't take a picture with Larry Fitzgerald that night.
No. He was mad at him, and we're all like dying laughing.
That's good stuff.
But Larry, can you imagine? He just has to be doing that to everybody if he did it to Boynton.
Oh yeah,
ripping him.
I mean, hey, when you're Larry Fitzgerald, you can do what you want. So yeah, he probably just does it all the time, whenever he feels like it. But all right, we'll get to the 7.9 to 7.6K range. Not a huge range, but hey, we got some old friends in there. Will Zalatoris and Victor Hovland. Man, Vic Hovland at 7.9 is interesting for sure. He is going to be one of the more popular guys in this range, along with Matt McNeely, 7.8. People love playing him. Big T's guy, Benny On, is in this range. JBC, we'll start with you first, though. Who are you liking from 7-9 to 7-6?
Not Victor Hovland. This motherfucker, I don't know what the fuck he's doing, but it's not being good at golf. But Big T will agree with me here 100%. The person who should be chalk and will be chalk is Min-Woo Lee at 7,800. That's the man. He played well again last week. He's a fucking dog. And, I'm going to keep hammering him until they fucking raise his price. But other than that, I do like Maverick McNeely at 7,800 as well, but not as much as Min-Woo.
Yeah, Matt McNeely, I think he'll be the most popular one. I just think, like, Hovland will get ownership just because he looks cheaper than normal, but I think most people trust Matt McNeely. They like the price, so I think they'll go to him. Big T, I think Benny On's pretty interesting in this range. Looks like he'll be a little bit lower on. The lowest owned guy in this range is Harris English, 7-6. No one is rostering him, it looks like. Anyone on your radar here in this range at 7-6 to 7-9?
Yeah, I don't like it as much as the AKs, but there is guys. It's definitely Min-Woo. I mean, JBC knew I was going to be on him. He's the odds play. He's the recent play. He's only played here once, but he was decent last year at this track. He just checks all the boxes, and he's 7,800. You have to like him. I'm always going to like Min-Woo too, I'll be honest. Like, I don't – guys that hit the ball like him, I'm just always going to like. And – I mean, more times than not, you're going to be happy with it. He's just a good golfer, and he's too cheap. So I'm going to be on him. Another guy that catches my eye a little bit is our boy Bill Z, Will Zalatoris. He's another guy that I feel like gets steamed, though, like big time. And I don't worry about ownership a ton. He always is projected like low, though. And then I just feel like when the ownership gets turned over, he's just always higher than I think he is.
People click him. People who are clicking will click.
Where do you think he comes in, though? Because if he's low, I want to play him. He's one guy I worry about ownership, though. If he's high, I don't want to play him. If he's low, I do.
I have no idea either because, I look at my shit and it's like fade. Like, get rid of this. Clear fade. But he always comes in with some. And then when he plays well, it's like, well, what the fuck? I didn't see that coming.
And he's cheap. Like,
I don't know. I much prefer Keegan Bradley to him. But
they're similar plays to me, honestly. Like when I look at it, so Bill Z, he's only played 4 rounds, I think, since his injury, or 4 tournaments since he came back from injury. All pretty solid. No top 10s though. And then his course history, 3 top 13s in the last 4 years, which is really good. He's just a ball striker. I like ball strikers at Torrey. I do like Keegan too, though. He's got similar stuff where 2 top 10s his last 5 events, 3 top 10s his last 6 events here. I think he's a solid play too. Those are my guys, though. Hovland, I don't know what's going on with him. Eventually, it's going to flip. I forget who we were talking about last week on the show. Oh, Homa. I'm not playing these guys until I see it. I don't have to be first. I'll wait.
I did hit a 20K showdown hit last week with Homa.
Who?
On round 2. I hit 20K with Homa.
He did good Friday?
Only in the second round.
I mean, at least he won for you. That you get some good mojo going with him. I don't know. That's where I'm at in here. I'm not going to play. Benny On's history here is really bad. His recent form is pretty bad. I like Benny On, just not this week. Harris English, I'm not playing him. I heard someone on Twitter. I read like some piece on Twitter that some guy made a lot of sense for Sam Stevens, which I don't know. Whatever I read, it made sense to me. So I always bookmark that stuff to where I want to get a little bit of Sam Stevens because I read it somewhere.
All right, a little bit of Sam Stevens for Big T. I guess, JVC, give me your top 2 guys in the 7-9 to 7-6 range.
Min-Woo and McNeely.
Who was the last one?
McNeely.
Oh, McNeely. Yeah, that makes sense. I assume Big T, Min-Woo will probably be one of your top 2 in this range.
Number 1 for sure. And then Keegan too, I guess. Yeah,
Keegan's a good one. He's definitely an upside play, right? And he's definitely played good golf over the past couple of years. So I like the Keegan call there. Let's get to 7.5 to 7K. Obviously, again, this is a shorter field. There's like not as many golfers, but probably like about 10 in this range. Sahith Theegala, Adam Scott. The highest owned guy in this range is looking to be Wyndham Clark or Siwoo Kim. our guy Siwoo JBC. I'm sure you'll have some interest after the T15. I mean, it's 7-1. It's a pretty good price tag too. So I think the Siwoo Kim is going to be, moving along once again this week. What's your thoughts?
Yeah, I think Siwoo Kim is the clear best play in this range, if not in the entire field. 7,100 is way too cheap for a guy with max upside. I understand there's max downside, but we don't give a fuck about that. This isn't about playing cash games. He could win the whole tournament very easily. And for 7,100, that's ridiculous. The second best play in this range, I think, is clearly Adam Scott. Another guy that could win the tournament if he plays well. He's coming in only around 70-1. The next two would be Cameron Young and Wyndham Clark, as you referenced. Guys with substantial upside who have not been playing as well recently, but they played decently last week. After that, Poston and Akshay Bhatia, I think, have substantial upside as well. I really, really like this range. Basically, everybody except for Grazerman and JJ Spawn, I like.
All right, loaded range from JBC. Big T, do you dare battle against Siwoo Kim once again this week?
I mean, it just shows you last week. I mean, so now we got Siwoo, 7,100, Spieth. What's Spieth?
He's 85.
85.
85. Like, that was the bet last week. Those two. Now they're 1,400 difference in price. But I have to agree here, though, just because of the price, and it's still the same thing. Last week, big field. I'm worried a little bit about the cut and stuff with Siwoo and the chalk. But this week, almost everyone's making it. You got the upside. He's got to be one of the better plays. He's my second, though. Adam Scott has to be my top play in this range. He's just so solid. The last 2 years, just rock solid. I don't know if he can get all the way to the top for us in this field. I don't know if he's skilled enough, but I think he could top 10 for sure. I just think he's so solid at 7,500. Have to like him. Siwoo, I will definitely be my number 2. And I don't love this range, though. How in the world is Hubbard 73? When you said he was the worst play, I didn't realize he was 7,300. I mean, wow, is he bad play. Definitely the worst play in the field.
Probably shoots -15.
If he wins this thing, then there is the most variance at golf. I always deny it, but I'll admit it if Hubbard is in the top 5 in this thing. Because, man, is he a bad play. And the only other guy, though, actually, I always like Connors a little bit. Connors has been – well, he was playing good, and then he went miscut 65, 74. So Wyndham, though, I think Wyndham in his own way is a lot like Siwoo, where he might have downside and he might have bad weeks, but he also can just win, and he can make birdies, and he can get hot. He finished 16th last week, and it just feels cheap to me. I mean, 7,300 for a guy of his upside feels like he should be closer to the Finau range.
They overreacted on his price.
Ooh, yeah. I mean,
they overreacted on his price because nobody's been taking him.
So those are my 3 guys clearly in this range, and I think they're 3 of the best plays on the slate: Scott, Wyndham, Siwoo.
All right, so that's Big T's.
You don't like Cameron look young? Cameron look young.
I never play him. I just don't like him.
I mean, he has upside. He has a
I yelled that at him again last week, and he turned and pointed. So that was
Did
good.
he smile? I might like him if he chirped back at you.
Oh yeah, no, he was he loved it.
JBC, we got Big T's top 3. Give me your top 3 in this range. I know you said you love this range, but try to narrow it down.
Kim, Scott, and Wyndham.
All right, that is.
Probably should play some Cam Young. You're right. Like he's played 6 events in the last 10 weeks. He's got only 2 bad finishes in the 6. The other 4 were top 13. Yeah. I'm going to add him.
He is going. I'm going to come in like mid-teens on Cameron Young. Like I'm going to have him quite a bit. I like the play.
And
he played well last week. At a price point that was not great, but this week it's more than fair, and I like him.
He's around 7 or 8%, and it sounds like Corey Connors.
I'm doubling that.
I like that.
All right, let's go to the 6K range, which I know, Big T, it sounds like you always say there's not a big difference between the 6K golfers and the 7K golfers. We'll see what you think of this week. Daniel Berger, 6'9". Matt Fitzpatrick, 6.8K. We've seen him fall a ton. Billy Ho, 6'7". Bezaden Hoot, he's there. Gary Waterland, 6.6K. Justin Rose is down there, 6'4". Your boy Brian Harman, Big T at 6'3". And then, of course, we got the Ben Griffin chalk, who he is coming in as the highest owned guy. Sabre has him at 9. I do think that gets steamed up a little bit more. Actually, Sabre has Daniel Berger higher at 13%. So Berger and Ben Griffin look like two of the highest owned guys in this range for JVC. You're going to have to play some 6K golfers if you want to play Scotty, Rory, and all the studs. So who are some of the guys you're looking at?
Berger's the best play in that range for good reason. He played really well last week. And obviously he's had some down years here after the injuries, but he used to be an elite golfer, and I think he's on track to get back to where that was again. After that, I think Denny McCarthy is by far the second best play. People typically steam him. Last week I think he struggled in round 1, came back, made the cut, then played okay from there. So I do like Denny McCarthy here. Cameron Davis, Fitzpatrick, good plays. And the next one, you said down to 66 or 65?
No, we're all the way, the whole 6K range.
Oh, the whole 6K range. Okay. Well, fuck it, we're just going then. Gary Woodland, elite play. I played him a lot last week, and he was great. I've had him the last 3 or 4 weeks. He seems to be fully recovered from his lobotomy. So he's been doing pretty well. Lucas Glover is another one that has typically been playing well, although last week, first round, he tanked it. So I don't think he made the cut. Rose, last tournament out, he fucked me by chipping in from off the green, but came in like 3rd. Great performance, has played a lot of tournaments here, been around a long time. So definitely like Justin Rose. Michael Kim made me all my money last week, so I can't really, hate on him. Great iron player, but obviously one of the most inconsistent head cases on tour. So, I only want to play him when he's on a heater, but clearly he is right now. So I don't mind Michael Kim whatsoever. I actually like him better than Ben Griffin, but I still like Ben Griffin down at 6,200. I think he's a very, very good play. Him and Mackenzie Hughes right there. If you plug those two in with Scotty and Rory, it really opens up your lineups. And then down at the dead bottom, I think the two that you can play are Kevin Yu and Adam Hadwin. Hadwin has been shit, but last week he played really well, so been a little better.
All right, Big T, 6K range. I'm sure you'll be loading up on this since you're doing the Rory and Scotty build all over the place. So who are some of the guys you're looking at?
I mean, and honestly, the reason I want to play so much Scotty and Rory together is I love this 6K range. I think there's so many guys in this range that are, if not 1K too cheap, somewhere in that range between 500 and 1,000 too cheap. Starting with Berger, it looked awesome last week. Like JVC said, he's a former, really good golfer that just lost his way a little bit. They don't really say stuff on the PGA, too, about injuries or drugs or whatever happened, why guys are out. But he just wasn't himself for a while. But he's finding it, and he's so cheap that I have to like him. Cam Davis can always pop off. Cam Davis and Denny are very similar. They're good putters that when they get hot with the flat stick, they can really run it up. So I like them. I make fun of Fitzpatrick, but this dude has won big tournaments, and he's 6,800. That's just too cheap. I'm not a big Fitzy guy, but that is too cheap for Matt Fitzpatrick. It just is. So I'm coming in on him. Aaron Rye, cheap. One guy I'm not playing is Billy Ho. He pissed me off last week. Gave no effort as chalk. Why would I ever play Billy Ho as chalk? That was just terrible. Our boy Bezenhout, he's been playing good golf. Nick Taylor's been playing good golf. Woodland. I mean, I know I'm naming off a lot of guys, but it's my strategy. Jam those top 2 guys and
mix
just
and match
filter these guys. Because all these guys, even if one of these guys gets steamed, they're not going to be more than 10 range. So if you play 20% of any of these guys, you are way above the field. And Gary Woodland has played great golf. He's a former major winner. He's just good. He's too cheap at 6,600. Lucas Glover, I agree. He's been playing good golf. One bad round. Another guy that I'm not playing is Homa. I'm not. He's just not there right now. I'm just not. I mean, look at it. He's just been so bad. I think he'll get some ownership too, just because of his name and how cheap he is. Rose, though. Rose is playing awesome. He's got great recent form and course history. Jaeger, I like Jaeger. Harmon, I'm always going to – I don't think this is a Harmon course, but I play him out of respect. He's won me a lot of money. I have to play him out of respect. Ben Griffin, like you guys said, I like him. And then the really cheap ones, who do I like really cheap? Kevin Yu, I absolutely love him. He's been playing great golf. He took 6th here last year too. You're telling me I can play a guy at 6K that finished 6th last year, 16th last week, playing good golf? Sign me up. Knapp, 6K, finished 3rd last year. I can play 2 6K guys that finished top 10 last year at this same event. Sign me up for these cheap guys. Who else is down here? Those are my 2 6K guys, though. Kevin Yu and Jake Knapp, I think are great plays. So just say you had that build like I was talking about where you play Scotty and Rory. Say you pop in those 2. You and, who did I say, Knapp. Because Knapp was a late ad, too. He came in for Tiger. You're at 7,400 for your last 2 spots. Like, I think that's a great build.
Yeah, you can get up to the 8K range. You can get down to the 6 with that. You can do 2 in the 7. So a lot of ways you can go then. Big T, are you and Knapp your 2 favorite 6K guys? Or?
Well, I mean, just with my roster construction, I think they're not my favorite plays in the range, but with the prices, I would rank them price per dollar or whatever they call it. I'd rank them 2 of my favorites. I like those guys at the top though. If I could pick whoever. I mean, those hot Gary Woodland, Fitzpatrick, I think is one of the most underpriced guys. Berger, those are my favorites, but I mean, it does mean something to get those 6K guys in there.
Oh, for sure. So those are some of the guys you like. At JBC, give us, I guess, a handful of guys. I know you like the range, but give us a handful that you want to like. You want to make sure you get
sneezing my ass off right now. But yeah, in that range it'd be Berger, McCarthy, Cameron Davis, Woodland, Eckroat, Michael Kim, Ben Griffin, and Hughes.
All right. Let's get to this.
And wait. While we're here, I want to touch on Tom Hoagie after his dead last performance last week. After the first round, I get to the tournament, and my buddy had been out at Talking Stick the night before. And who was in the high roller room hammering baccarat but Tom Hoagie at midnight right before round 2?
Didn't we joke about it too on the show?
We joked about it on the show, and then it really happened. So,
yeah.
All right, let's. I do want to mention the weather. I don't know how much you guys have looked at it. If you care, it looks like there's going to be like the first day 10-mile-per-hour winds and like flood watch warnings in the morning. And then it seems like the PM for Thursday, then like the wind picks up a lot more to 20 miles an hour. And then Friday there'll be winds and scattered showers. I mean, there could be delays, so that it could change up when guys are golfing. JVC, how do you kind of take into account the weather this week or just in general?
With the short field, I'm not really fucking with it.
Why is that?
Just because, the tee times get more condensed, and
okay,
the guys are just, I don't think there's enough distance between when they start and when they finish. They play faster. It's just not something I think is going to be a big deal.
Yeah, that's a fair point. Like typically, like if a guy's golfing at like 6 p.m. and then the other one's golfing at like 6 a.m. right? It's a huge difference in the time period where it can definitely shift a big amount. It's probably not going to shift as much. So that's a good point. Big T, do you care much about it? Snyder said 2-hour gap. So do you care much about the weather?
It's one of my favorite things to do when we get an edge weather stack, but it's not this week. I agree with JBC. Like on the weeks where I can do it and it's a full field, I love it because like I've said 1,000 times on these golf shows, even if it doesn't pan out, you're still more unique by stacking one of the waves. This isn't the week though. You got a short gap. It's in California. Even if it pans out one way or the other, which it could, just the way it goes, I'm not going to be waiting it at all.
Also, the other thing I like to look at too is like if it's just going to be unpredictable and it's like there's so many variables of when it could rain and not, and like sometimes people want to predict the weather edge wave and then they get it wrong, so that always is a factor too. So I want it to be way more clear.
We've definitely had good success at Run Pure picking when to do it though. I'll say that since we've done these golf shows, we've had good success when we pick it.
Yeah, I agree on that. For Michael, he says Scotty is a fade this week.
I love when people come in and just say it confidently though. Like he's a fade, like just confident.
Let's fade the best guy. That's smart. LeBron James sucks.
It's like That's like fading Nikola Jokic probably tonight because he'll be the only superstar playing basketball.
He never plays a fourth quarter again. He's always a good fade. They pound everybody.
Yeah, it's been ridiculous.
I played Cade Cunningham yesterday. Speaking of that, 71-29 at half.
That was the biggest beating I've ever seen.
Is that? Did you have a lot of Cade? Is that why you were tilting that game? I saw you.
Yeah, I was like all in on Cade.
I saw you tweeting, and I was like,
and the Bulls. Like I had like the Bulls like peripheral guys.
Yeah.
How do you get beat that bad? That's embarrassing.
At home, embarrassing.
One thing I do disagree with you on, JVC. I wanted to know what the spread was before the game. What was the spread? Do you remember?
4.
4? Okay. My point was going to be is I think the Pistons are a better team than people realize right now, mainly because they're
on the road at the Bulls. It's like,
yeah.
But the Pistons are a team that are like, they're young, they haven't won shit in a while, and they're just grinding their cock off, right? They are doing everything they can to like be a good team this year when other teams don't give a shit. So I think that like says more than people realize this year. But I probably should have bet the Pistons then. I didn't realize it was only 4. I thought it'd be a larger gap. So, but all right, let's give out our winners, our favorite plays of the week up at the top, and then in the lower range, and then we will get on out of here. JVC, we'll start with you first. Who's the? I'm assuming you're not fading Scotty Scheffler. I assume he'll be your number one guy, but maybe I'm wrong.
Yeah, at the top, Scheffler. In the middle, Min-Woo Lee. At the bottom, Siwoo Kim. There you go.
There you go. That's the guys. Big T, give me your golfers up top, middle, and then down low. Who's winning?
So Rory, you can get 7-1. Rory's my top guy, and then mid-range. Who's my mid-range guy? Give me, man. I don't want to pick the same as JVC, but I like Min-Woo at 60. Let me pick a different one. I like Min-Woo. Give me my boy Rasmus. I think Rasmus is honestly probably a better bet than DFS play, anyways, because the ownership obviously doesn't matter in a bet. You can get 40-1 on him too, but I do like Min-Woo. And then my long shot, who's my over 100-1? Man, I like Woodland at 120-1. He could easily win, and 120 is a big price. So yeah, I think we like a lot of the same guys this week though, which I like. We didn't have too many arguments. I'm trying to think of who we argued about. Who can I get Mangone bucks on? I need at least one bet.
I mean, I like Aberg, but I think he's way better DFS than like playing straight up. I don't think he's a good head-to-head.
We have to argue on someone. How do we not argue on anyone? Who do we argue on? There has to be someone. We can't have a show where we don't argue.
There's just not a lot of golfers you mentioned that I was like, oh, he's shitty.
I'm going to end up a lot higher in the 9K and 8K than you are, obviously.
I know I don't like any to have a bet though. Like I wish I had someone that like who you like, Travis. I gotta find someone you like that I hate.
Oh, he was talking shit about Pendrith.
Travis
thinks Pendrith sucks.
I think Pendrith at 9K is like not.
Well, who do you want then? That can be. I'll let you pick one of those now. I'll even let you go up. Anybody but Oberg. Any of those other dudes versus Pendrith.
Oh, Matsuyama against Pendrith.
Yeah, I'll give you. You lost. I'll take the worst of the number for you, Travis. You can pick one. I'll take Pendrith.
Yeah, I'm thinking it through. Yeah, I'll take Hideki. Why not? Hideki seems solid. We'll go with
Yeah, that's what I wanted.
Literally said you what to do. Stop thinking about it.
No, I'm thinking through with Pendrith. Like, man, is he just going to keep? Is this going to be like the year he breaks out and just absolutely dominates?
Good.
I know he's good, but Hideki's better.
I hate Hideki's the fun.
I've always been a Hideki. I've always been a Hideki.
All the other Asians, I don't like Hideki.
The biggest problem with Hideki.
You don't like the Japanese. You prefer the Koreans.
All right, so we'll do Hideki versus Pendrith. Like I said, at the top, I do think it's Aberg. I like him a lot. And then who's my mid-tier? I'll go with Adam Scott. I actually like Adam Scott. You guys talked about him a lot. Sometimes I worry about his upside to win because he just always like plods and gets like.
You don't need all the guys to win though.
I know.
Solid.
We have seen Adam Scott win plenty of tournaments.
He does. I'll tell you this, JBC. Adam Scott feels more like a cash play than a tournament play, though. If you had to pick one,
I don't know, man. Because he stripes it.
He is so solid. Like based on price, he's the most solid golfer in the field.
Yeah, it's just like if he like runs hot with the putter, he could easily win.
With his stupid belly putter.
I agree. I'm just saying, like, to the point of Big T saying he's so solid. That's what everyone always says about Adam Scott, right? No one ever says,
"Oh, you don't need all 6 of them." When he finishes 15th, you're going to be plenty happy.
I agree. But I like Adam Scott there, and then cheap one. I do like Justin Rose. We'll take some shots with him there at 6.4K. So,
what's your average age, dude? Like 50?
I did.
He's got the boomer team. The boomer team.
I'll tell you this though, it might be a good week for the boomers, right? I mean, this is a boomer course, right?
It's like I was telling people at the bar last week. Somebody that doesn't really gamble. They were like, "Well, I don't really bet UFC. What's the easiest thing, or that like what's like a rule of thumb?" I was like, just bet the guys that if they're 7 or more years younger, just bet the younger person every time.
Bet the youth.
Yeah. And it's like the lines will get fucked up because people will bet the boomer guy just because it's a bigger name, and they always get their ass kicked.
Yeah. Youth matters.
Look at Imavov against Adesanya.
That was like the easiest bet I've seen in a while. I was talking so much crap in Discord the entire weekend. Izzy is done, man. He is dusted.
Well, I mean, he's going to fight Strickland next. He might not be dusted.
Strickland could be dusted too.
Strickland sucks.
Dude, Strickland popped his nose back in. I was impressed by that. That was some crazy stuff. What is the UFC card this weekend, JBC? Is it any good?
Shitty.
Yeah, I thought so.
Angela Hill's the main event.
Ooh, that's a brutal one. Yeah.
You would think that these sports would time stuff better during NFL and All-Star Week. Like, come on,
well,
Dana.
I think with the dunk contest, they'll be going on they're going up against the dunk contest.
No one cares about the dunk contest. No one.
It still will do better numbers on a Saturday night than just about anything.
Because it's free. That's why. She's the UFC.
No, kids love stuff. Like, dude, my kids and stuff love that stuff.
Kids love dunk contests. Kids love 3-point contests.
You can't underestimate that kind of stuff.
Did you guys see yesterday? I randomly found this tweet. There was the Cavaliers at their halftime show yesterday. They did a dunk contest, or maybe it was 2 days ago. I forgot. They did a dunk contest. It was like this 6-minute video that some guy posted. He said, "Go to the final dunk." There's this white boy that did one of the most insane.
With no trampoline, just dunking.
Dude, it was. I'm telling you, the guy said it's one of the best.
It was like not fans. It was like actual dunkers.
Yeah,
nobody brought fans in, and they're just throwing hammers down.
Yeah. See, Adam, the Cavs dunk contest there were some legit dunkers.
But they had to like bring in actual dunkers. I gotta look this up now.
I'll find it and send
it. You
go
to a normal NBA game, like you're not pulling a fan out of the stands that's gonna go in there and throw down hammers.
He's a plant.
I'm telling you,
it's like the comedy show where you have a few of
your
buddies
get a random fan.
and they're like setting you up.
Get like a little white dude wearing like a business suit, and then like he just like throws off the coat and just fucking hammers.
Texas Tech dude. What's the guy's name that kept winning?
Mac McClung.
Yeah, put him in the suit. He's not gonna look like no Tucker.
Yeah, it was awesome, but all right.
He said it was professional dunkers. It had to be, but it's still funny.
Yeah.
No, it was still sick. I'm telling you, I was impressed. So, but all righty, that will wrap it up for us. We got NASCAR this weekend too. Big T action before.
That's actually honestly a good point, baby. Because it's Thursday 2 events, Friday trucks, Saturday Xfinity, Sunday's 500K to first place. We got, Stats will be in there all weekend. One of the best NASCAR players in the world. Rubio has crushed. I'll put my stuff up. Third place consolation, me in there. But we did good. NASCAR content was awesome last year. And in all seriousness, there's no NBA this weekend. There's no football this weekend. NASCAR's going to be good. And they got every day is a 6-figure prize pool. 150K, 125K. We're going to crush the NASCAR. So check it out. It's going to be a fun weekend.
Yeah, and listen, Big T, there is still football going on. Madden Sims, you can always play football.
God. Shut the fuck up.
Figured I'd throw that in.
Do they really do the contest for that still?
Yes.
Yes, they do. Yeah, they're I still play them here and there. They're fun. They're fun over the All-Star break. But all righty, that's gonna wrap it up for us. Thanks a lot for joining us on the show. For me, Mango, JBC, and Big T. See you guys later.